Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Spencer Williams here for Freedom Through Finances. This is the show where we interview people who have created wealth and achieved freedom. We interview entrepreneurs, employees, authors, athletes, artists, investors, anyone who has achieved freedom through finances, and we examine exactly what it took to get there and how you can do it too. Today on the show, I have a very impressive client of mine, Chuck Smith, founder of Chuck Smith Systems from Cleveland, Ohio, who has the #1 real estate house flipping systems in the USA. He's an owner of 2 successful businesses between his flipping business and his teaching business. He's the author of From Cop to CEO, which sold 500,000 copies in seminars, highest paid non-celebrity speaker at the Learning Annex. He was featured in over 100 radio interviews, and he is the creator of 4 complete real estate systems, which is over 1,000 pages combined, spanning on topics from wholesaling to house flipping to business to marketing to luxury homes to probate to asset protection to apartment buildings. This guy's got a ton of knowledge and gold to share with you all today, and he drove all the way down from Ohio to Niagara Falls, Canada, just for this interview today, so he can bring you the knowledge that you need to become a 6 to 7 figure real estate investor. Chuck, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Very good. No problem. Anytime. It's always a pleasure to have new guests on the show. So we speak every couple weeks to someone new, and you're certainly a legend here in the United States with your record of 4,000 houses flipped, especially in Ohio in the real estate investing community. So just for the people at home who don't know Chuck Smith, how would you describe Chuck Smith to everybody so that they know exactly who you are?
Well, like you said, I flip homes. I flip anything that's real estate related, and I sort of fell into teaching what became my system because I, like a lot of people, went to seminars that were basically, most of them were a waste of money.
Yeah.
But I'd take a little bit of something away from each seminar, and then when I got out into the field in Cleveland, Ohio, I'd write down what worked, what didn't work, why it worked, and why it didn't work.
Yes.
So that's basically how my system came about, because I only have a high school education. I don't have I did go to Harvard Elementary in Cleveland, but that's, that's
not quite the same.
Not quite the same. So, but and that's basically how my system came about. And then I started getting a lot of attention in the real estate community in Cleveland, and people would approach me and say, "Will you take me out and train me personally?"
Yeah.
So the first time I did that, I charged $3,000. Yeah. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
And the girl is amazing, though. She, I think she's
Your first student?
Yeah, she was my first student.
Yeah.
And then from there, I once I had the systems developed, which are basically manuals accompanied by audio.
Yeah.
With me there teaching you.
Yeah.
Then I started going. I was on the speaking circuit, which is grueling.
Yeah. Traveling.
The traveling. In one 24-hour period, the Learning Annex had me in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego.
Yeah. It's
it was crazy.
it's like when musicians, pop stars, they go on world tours, right?
Yeah.
That's what that stuff reminds me a lot about, because I've heard tons of stories from people. Same thing. They're on the road. They talk about how grueling it is. They're going to city after city after city, and it's just like if you're on a world tour as a musician. You're going out there. You're performing on stage. You're going out to the next city to do the same thing.
Yeah, but and also, I loved doing the real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, that was more profitable for me to be out there actually doing it.
Yeah.
And that's how my system came about.
Yeah.
And then I went from there, the Learning Annex, and I started doing my own seminars.
Yeah.
Which are a ton of work.
Yeah.
I mean, a ton of work.
Yeah.
But I enjoy.
And money. They cost money.
Yeah. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? You know, and I really developed a love for teaching.
Yeah.
Teaching my students. I mean, I'm literally changing their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I've trained medical doctors.
Yeah.
I trained one doctor that came in from London, England,
Yeah.
to my seminar. I've trained truck drivers. I mean, a janitor.
Yeah.
And this is kind of funny, but even one guy who was in prison.
Really?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He just broke the law with a bank and a ski mask, you know, and he got 4 years. But
he didn't get Chuck Smith systems fast enough. Man.
Yeah,
He should have learned how to make money the real way first.
but he actually had his girlfriend order my course.
Oh yeah.
And at that time, I only had one course.
Yeah.
The main manual and the audio. And then he wanted to come to my seminar, and he had to get permission from a federal judge and his parole officer.
Really?
Yeah, because he was on parole.
Wow.
And yeah.
But it passed the check?
Yeah, the parole officer actually called me.
Yeah, yeah. He probably read through it and was like, shit, I need this too.
You know, and he said, I understand you were a cop. I said, yeah, so you're not going to lie for anybody. I said, no, I've never even met the guy yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a legend in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But because I mentioned his past crime, I'm not going to give his name out.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I never understand that. Like, there's so many people in the self-development industry who are so scared of somebody who's lying. You know, same thing with the correctional officer. He's like, oh, what if you're lying? It's like, what is the benefit, truly, what is the benefit of a coach lying to their students? Like, at the end of the day, when you're coaching, when you're running a coaching business, your students' success is your success, right?
Right.
So if you're lying to people and you're teaching them shit that doesn't work, they're just not going to be successful, and then you're not going to be successful, and then you don't even have a coaching business anymore. So good coaches, they teach things that work. They don't have a reason to lie, and they understand that if they teach things that work, their students will actually become wealthy, and when their students are wealthy, they can keep doing business together, and it's building a wealthy network, and that's how you have a thriving coaching business.
Yeah, I actually do the coaching personally myself.
Yeah.
Anywhere they want it, we can do it on Zoom. We can do it over the phone. It's great with the technology nowadays.
Yeah.
When I first started out, you know, I think it was AOL or something like that.
Yeah,
it was,
I remember that.
That's been
Flip
called
phones,
the
AOL.
Yeah. It's been called the internet with training wheels.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, I mean, you know, a student can literally be sitting with a potential private lender and put them on the phone with me.
Yeah.
And you know, and I always tell my students, don't say the word seminar. Say that you've got somebody that's mentoring you.
Yeah.
And you know, private lenders, I know the pitch, and you could wake me up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know, and I could tell you what I say to a private lender, but I love the coaching. I mean, it's very different from being a cop.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you teach people how to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They love you.
Yeah.
You
Of
know,
course.
they love you.
Yeah.
There isn't a major city in the United States that I could go to where I couldn't go to somebody's house for dinner or meet them for dinner. So
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're welcome at my house for dinner anytime. So you started in Cleveland. You started flipping houses. Well, you started as a police officer actually. Then you started flipping houses. As you were becoming successful, flipping more and more houses, people started to get in touch with you from the area, and they say, "Hey, how are you doing what you're doing?" And then you realized, I should be packaging this up. I should be documenting what I'm doing that's working, what I'm doing that's not working, so I can help other people do the exact same thing as well. And then your business just started picking up from there. You had your first student for 3,000. I really liked your point. You know, you made that joke about you went to Harvard Elementary School, not Harvard University. You know, 92% of real estate investors, 92% of millionaires were created from real estate. So what that means is this education, you know, you could have gone to Harvard. Real estate is going to make you more money than what that degree makes you from Harvard. Some of my most successful clients in business right now, they're making over $1 million a year, every year consistently. I have one who's making over $1 million a year every year consistently. He didn't even finish high school. He actually doesn't even have his high school education done. One of my goals is to get him on a podcast episode too. So I think that what you're teaching, like you said, it's changing people's lives, and I think it could change people's lives much more than Harvard University could, because real estate is so proven, such a proven wealth creation vehicle, and somebody from Harvard could take what you're teaching and apply it and make more money as well, right?
Yeah, you know, and the problem sometimes is with highly educated people like doctors, lawyers, you gotta get them into the right mindset, because they need to forget about that
ego.
Formal education. Well, ego sometimes too, but you know, I tell them, I say, you know, you need to be as dumb as me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a soldier. Be a good soldier. If anybody was in the military and they got an order, guess what? They followed it.
Yeah.
And that's where you want to approach my system.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Chuck. Freedom is a big word. I use it in the intro of this show. Freedom through finances, right? How do you help people achieve freedom, and what does freedom through finances actually mean to you?
Well, I can tell you from my own experience. You know, I was married with 4 kids. One of my sons is autistic. He's on the autistic spectrum.
Yeah.
And the therapy was very expensive. You know, the public schools don't give you really anything.
No.
And even my own wife didn't think this flipping stuff would work.
Yeah.
She loved going to the seminars because she could travel, but what I did is the first deal I made, well, it was actually it closed second after another deal, but my second deal, I made $5,000.
Yeah.
And I just gave it to her.
Yeah.
I said, go do whatever you want with it. And from then on, she was a believer.
Yeah, welcome to your new life.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta taste it to believe it, you know?
Yeah, you know, it's not that she didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
She just didn't believe that this flipping stuff works.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly would not want to be a cop nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, it's for one thing, you don't make enough money.
No.
I mean,
agree.
my last year as a cop, I made $53,000,
Yeah.
and I was a sergeant.
Wow. And for the risk, I mean, I think it's a good career because it gives you a pension, which is a very nice part of it. But for also the amount of risk that you need to take in the career and the damage it can have on your body, is it worth that money? Like you broke your neck and broke your back from being a cop. Was that worth $53,000 a year in a pension?
No. I'm glad you mentioned pension, because I mean, if you look at corporate America, you don't get a pension. You get a 401k or something similar. At one time, cops, firefighters, nurses, they all had a good pension system.
Yeah.
Now that's going down the drain. If you look at I was watching a documentary on I think it was Kentucky, where now every new hire gets a 401k. They don't get the guaranteed pension.
Really? Wow.
And teachers.
Yeah.
Certainly we need teachers, but a lot of people are leaving the teaching profession.
Or they're going private.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can make much more money. And it's so your first house, you made $5,000 profit. And so to make more than a cop with a $5,000 profit, you'd only need 10 houses over the year, or 11 houses, which you can totally do. By the way, you can do 11 houses in a year. I've seen people do it. I've seen people do more. But then on your last deal that you've told me about, that's recorded with the checks, everything like that, you actually did $183,000 on one deal back in 2022. So $183,000, imagine that, just from one house, one flip, 1 year, less than a year most likely. That's triple what a cop is doing with 10 times less work than probably what a cop is doing every day.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends on the area you live in. Like I have students in Southern California, some in Northern California, San Francisco. The real estate is just way more expensive.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you do an expensive deal,
yeah.
you make more money.
Yeah.
So I have students out there that I one of my students in San Diego, his first deal,
yeah.
he made $160,000
Exactly.
on his very first deal, and that's on my website.
And that's when you start getting a little bit more, I don't even know if I want to say advanced, because I don't know if it's that much different, but maybe when you're working with bigger money lenders and you're doing luxury homes at that point, right? Like you're making 100, or no, you don't need a luxury home.
Actually, I've done luxury homes
Yeah.
for $100 out of my pocket.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I have in my system, in the manual luxury homes, there's a piece of paper, and basically I'll approach the owner of the house that for some reason it didn't sell.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, and it's right in the paperwork, bless you.
Thank you.
It's right in the paperwork that, hey, if you sell this house on your own, I get nothing.
Yeah.
If I sell it, I get whatever amount we agreed upon.
Yeah.
So I think most I've made on a luxury home was like $225,000.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know, this just came to my mind because you were talking with somebody about, if you sell it on your own, nothing that you pay me. If I sell it, would it be also beneficial to somebody going through your program who's learning house flipping, they're ready to start doing that, to also become a licensed realtor? Would
No.
they maximize their...
Absolutely.
Because then they could buy or sell the house themselves too, or is that...
Absolutely not. In fact, I had my license for about 6 months, and when you're a licensed real estate agent, you have so many rules and laws you have to follow. You could never do what we do as a professional real estate investor.
Yeah.
So I turned my license in. I said, screw this.
Yeah.
It just got in the way too much.
Yeah.
I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah. Costs money to maintain it too. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I tell my students when they first start out is I say, like in my system,
Yeah.
the first thing you need to do is build and cultivate a buyer's list.
Yeah.
The reason you need to do that is because, one, you want to get the house sold. And people are going out there buying houses every day and they can't sell them.
Yeah.
It guarantees you're going to get the house sold.
Yeah.
Also, it tells you where people want houses.
Yeah.
Like I've got several guys that buy from me that just rehab houses.
Yeah.
And I'll do a contract assignment.
Yeah.
Here, give you $2,000, $5,000. I think the most I ever charged for a contract assignment was $10,000.
Yeah.
But that's how you get. That's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a buyer's list, you're like, now what do I do?
How do I get rid of this thing?
And I tell my students all the time through all my materials, the ones I'm personally coaching, I tell them, do contract assignments.
Yeah.
There's no risk whatsoever.
Yeah. Pure
You know,
profits.
Yeah, pure profit.
No holding costs.
And I hear, I traveled all over the country speaking to students, and I've heard guys say, if I don't make $50,000 on a deal, it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Okay? If I do a contract assignment, it's about 2 hours worth of work.
Yeah.
And if I make $5,000,
Yeah.
I'm making more than the highest priced doctor or attorney
Yeah.
is in this country. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then it would take you 20 hours to make that 50.
Yeah.
When flipping a house would take much more than 20 hours.
yeah, I teach them contract assignment and then wholesaling.
Yeah.
They're like in the same family, but it's a different animal, And wholesaling, you're actually taking title to the property.
Mm.
You take title to the property and then you sell it to someone that's on your buyer's list.
Yeah.
I mean, I also have had a lot of success with people who want to be landlords.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, Spencer, I love it. Because I have a saying, we don't buy the way we sell, and we don't sell the way we buy.
Yeah.
Those people are going to go out and get a loan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. If money is needed, I have a few private lenders.
Yeah.
That will put up the money.
Yeah.
I'll give them 50% of the profit.
Yeah.
And they're happy as hell.
But no interest on the loan, just half the profit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll do that if they want to do interest-only payments.
Yeah.
I would do that, but it would have to be a much larger deal because unlike these TV shows, they're showing how they flip. First of all, if you're flipping a house, in my definition, you're not doing any work to it.
Yeah.
It's not like Flip or Flop or whatever those shows are.
Yeah.
Those are all basically, I hate to say it, but they're bullshit.
Yeah.
People think they can learn from those shows.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
These shows have producers that are putting up the money.
Yeah.
They're buying the house, or they're paying for the construction, team, contractors will work on it.
Yeah.
No.
No, they're essentially in the entertainment business, not the flipping business. Like, they're creating a show. They're not doing the reality of flipping a house, right? So, and I agree. I think flipping is a great way to expand your income. That's that same client that I mentioned who owns a business that does over $1 million a year, no high school education. He also flips houses a couple times a year too, in the local cities, and he makes an extra probably 20 grand, 40 grand, 60 grand a year from flipping a couple extra houses, and that's something that can help you pay your bills. That's something that could give you an extra vacation, or if you wanted, you can go full time and make a full-time living doing it too.
Yeah, believe it or not, full-time in my mind is 20 hours a week.
Yeah. Full-time, okay.
Full-time.
As a real estate investor.
Yeah.
That's full-time. Yeah.
That's full-time.
Yeah.
I have a great lifestyle. I mean, been able to do some wonderful things. Unfortunately, in 2009, my father died. He died from cancer.
Mm.
So I was able to take him to his chemo treatments every time he went. I think it was like once a week.
And be there for him.
Be there for him. Be there for his last few days.
Yeah. And your kids too, growing up.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that was one of the big reasons you got into it. You were saying is your kids they needed somebody to be there, right?
Yeah.
And your job as a police officer, you had to be out of the house every day.
Right.
Real estate investor, you can be there for your kids.
Yeah, I can remember the first time after I resigned from the police force, watching my kids get on the bus.
Yeah.
And then watching them when they came home at the end of the day, because I ran and still run my businesses out of my own house.
Yeah.
And it's it's just great. I mean, I lost my mother in March.
Yeah.
She died from Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to put her into some cheap Medicaid nursing home.
Yeah.
I found her a nice place where everybody could go visit her.
What, $19,000 a month?
$19,000 a month.
Yeah.
So just some of the things you can do.
Yeah. So and you don't need past experience. You don't need past education. You don't need to have an office. You don't need to go apply for a job and find a boss. You don't need to show up somewhere. You get to work on your timeline, work from home, be there for your family, make more money, have control over your income and your destiny.
Yeah, I have a friend, Bill Barnett.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called "Are You Dumb Enough to Be Rich?"
I've seen that one. Yeah.
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 And it's actually the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, some problems that I see with students is they either get big deal-itis, I call it.
Yeah.
They want to make 50 grand on
Yeah,
one
they want the
deal.
big sexy deals.
Yeah. Or they don't follow instructions.
Yeah.
You got to be like a soldier. If
Yeah.
I tell you if I tell you or teach you to do something, you need to go do that.
Yeah.
Don't deviate.
Yeah, you need to trust
Yeah.
the system that you joined. Trust yourself that when you made the decision to join, you've made the right decision and fully commit to it. Because
Yeah.
if you don't fully commit, it might not work, right?
Yeah, I've had several students that have come to my seminars that were they paid $30,000
Yeah.
or more for seminar packages from
Yeah.
these gurus that if they even did a deal,
Yeah.
it was probably 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've had numerous students thank me because they use my system, flipping houses, to pay off those credit cards.
Yeah, to pay off.
Isn't that
Yeah,
ironic?
that is ironic, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Those coaches should be signing up. And I've seen your testimonials on your website. You got a ton of them. You have helped a ton of people. And yeah, I think that what you're doing can definitely change a lot of people's lives and help a lot of people around the world too. You know, it's not a hard thing. They just need to sign up. They need to be willing to listen. They need to fully commit to it. And it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
anybody.
and I know people automatically think, okay, I got a full-time job, I've got kids, how am I going to do this? Well, I had a full-time job as a cop, and I was working rotating shifts, which means every 28 days you go from night shift to day shift, you know, so on and so on. And I was in court a lot because I made a lot of felony arrests. But I did it. You just, it's time management. That's all it is. You know, you get a lead on a house. Bam, I'm gone. I'm going over to look at it.
Exactly.
You know, after I pre-screen the seller.
Yeah, you can do it along, like I said, that guy who I have as a client, he runs $1 million business. He has 10 staff members. He flips houses alongside doing that. You could do it part-time. You could do it full-time. Even full-time's 20 hours. You could do a full-time job and real estate investing full-time on the side.
You can.
And you teach all of that in your manuals too. So people can literally sign up for that and have everything that you've learned over the last 30 years, the proven steps, for a very affordable price online. Obviously, if they want one-on-one coaching, it's a little bit more expensive at that point, right?
Yeah, and you know, I tell my students all the time in the beginning, if you can't do it part-time, you're not going to be able to do it full-time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree.
I teach them how to be productive, not just busy.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Huge. I agree with that.
I mean, I've had like my mother-in-law heard me in my little home office talking to a seller.
Yeah.
And I pre-screened my sellers.
Yeah.
She said, Chuck, it sounded like you were trying to talk her out of selling the house to you. I said, no. I'm getting all the information I can. Like if I say, okay, what's the least you could take? 200,000. Okay, I've got that all written down.
Yeah. Because
sometimes a no today becomes a yes tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and people, the amateurs out there, they don't even have a file.
Yeah.
If you take the time to go look at a house, you should have a follow-up file.
Yeah.
That I also teach within my system. So.
Yeah. Key point. 2 key points that I really agree with, because I teach people also with launching online businesses, right? So I teach very similar concept to what you were saying in the beginning, and when it comes to, you know, working, learning underneath somebody.
You know, and I'm glad you brought that up because there's a lot of real estate gurus out there.
Yeah.
They don't do the coaching themselves.
Yeah.
They hire a team. It's like a boiler room.
Yeah.
You know, and they have these, God knows who, what kind of experience they have trying to teach, to coach somebody on how to be, you know, be successful in real estate.
Yeah.
And you've got to have the experience. I mean, I've been doing this 24 years.
Yeah.
I don't change anything.
Yeah.
It's been working great for me.
Yeah.
You know, so why change it?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, no, so the 2 key points that I want to put in there, and I really agree, 2 key points that you said. Number 1, I teach the same thing. If you're launching an online business, or any business at all, and real estate investing is just another business, I always say one of the first things that we even teach in our programs with launching a business is don't quit your current job yet. Like you said, start with it part-time. Get proof of concept. Make some money on the side. Once you've done it one time, and you have, you know, that experience, you have something that's repeatable, then you can feel confident enough to quit your job and go full time into doing that over and over and over.
Yeah, it took me 2 years.
Yeah.
From the time I got started in the flipping houses.
Yeah.
Till I came to the point where I resigned from the police force.
Yeah.
And you know, I really loved the job
Yeah.
as being a cop, helping
Yeah.
people. But I'm telling you, the money was a hell of a lot better in real estate. I mean, when I started out full time, I was cranking out anywhere from 10 to 12 deals per month.
Yeah.
Out of a home office, no secretary.
Yeah.
Nobody, no assistants, nobody helping me.
Yeah.
It was just like a machine.
Yeah.
You need some money. Funny story. All my kids needed braces as they were growing up, and they're all close to the same age.
Yeah.
So I went to the dentist and I said, look, I think it was like $15,000 total or something. I said, look, if I pay you in cash, how much of a discount will you give me? And he's like, aren't you a cop? I said, yeah, one good traffic stop and you're set for life.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I would never do that. But, yeah, not only did he give me a $5,000 discount, he became one of my private lenders for a few deals. And here's this dentist, he's like, my God, I've had 2 heart attacks. Because I worked so many hours to keep the practice going. And you know, I'm a laid back guy. A lot more laid back than when I was a police officer. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the other key point that you shared from, you know, what you were saying before is the money is in the follow-up. A lot of amateurs, they don't understand that. You know, 48%, we teach this in our sales program too, 48% of salespeople, they don't even follow up with a buyer once. There's a huge, huge amount of money wasted from a lack of follow-up. And 80% of deals are not closed on the first time you talk to somebody. 80% of deals are closed after you've spoke multiple times.
My system's a little better than I guess.
Okay.
By the time I go to the house, if I visit 10 houses, 8 of them I put under contract. And I buy. So, you know, and there's a reason I'm so successful at it is that I'm not a salesperson. I don't believe in, you know, I've taken some sales training courses, but I tell my students, you don't need sales training, you need people skills. Like, go to somebody's house and they've got a dog there. Ask first before you pet the dog. Because I had a pit bull to take a chunk out of my leg one time. And she did sell me the house. She thought I was going to sue her, but people love their animals.
100%.
I don't care if I got to get down on the floor, roll around with a hairy German Shepherd. I'll get my clothes cleaned, or I'll throw them out.
100%.
You know, you got to talk to people. You got to understand why they're selling. And another thing that's benefited me so much is that I offer a $1,000 referral fee. If somebody, like in all my advertisements, which we could talk about later or not at all, but I say $1,000 referral fee. I've had countless times people, family members, like when somebody dies, they got to sell the house. I've had countless times that the relative of the person that died talks the family into selling it to me. Because I'm not going to tell anybody I gave him $1,000. That's between the two of us. If you want small, unmarked bills in a dark alley, I'll give it to you that way. I pay realtors a bonus. They're not supposed to do that, but how are they going to find out? I mean, I can make a mortgage payment for them. I can give them a gift card, whatever they want.
I completely agree. And I think people skills one of the most important aspects in business, just in general. You know, I went to, before I dropped out of university to go full-time into my own business, I was doing a Bachelor of Commerce and a major in finance. And I got 1 credit before I dropped out. School started becoming a full-time job. My business was becoming a full-time job. I figured if I could get into school the first time, I can always go back and get into school again if I need to, but who knows if the opportunity for the business to continue will always be there. So I dropped out, I went full-time into the business. I haven't had to look back since, knock on wood. Very, very thankful for that. But one of the key things that I learned, and the 1 credit that I got, is that the higher up you go on a management ladder inside of a company, the more important people skills become, and the less important technical skills become. And the lower that you are down in a company, the more important technical skills are. So what you're saying is start your own business, be your own business owner. When you're all the way at the top of the ladder like that, a business owner, people skills are more important than anything. Because you can hire somebody to do the technical stuff.
Yeah,
but if you can't manage that person, so it's a people game.
You're talking about me when it comes to technology. And
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
I know you and Fletcher laugh about me all the time, but
Exactly.
like I was doing, I remember one time I was doing a presentation in, I think it was Atlanta, Georgia. And there was this guy that was teasing me because I wasn't using PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I was using the old projector where you put the slides on there.
Yeah.
And he was teasing me before that. And I said, well, how much did you make in sales?
Yeah.
And I did like triple what he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said, but I'm number 1 on one thing. Refunds. I have to refund them their money. I said, there's something to shoot for,
Yeah.
you know?
That's not good, man. No, I agree. People skills extremely important. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but even in our, I know I technically call the program that we have Sales Mastery, but I really view it as like the Sales Mastery program we have. It teaches you a lot about how to interact with people, how to deal with people, how to be the best version of yourself too. You've went through it. You did it. It's not just sales, right? It's more about how to be successful individual and create those relationships and build that trust and create. I think that sales, you shouldn't just be looking to make a sale. You should be looking to create a lifelong relationship with somebody that you can continue doing business with forever. You have to think bigger than just a sale, and you have to think of how can we do business together forever. You need to be in the terms of lifelong relationships, right? And that's people, not just sales.
And I learned my people skills while serving as a cop.
Yeah, that would be
I mean,
you'd have to.
There's an old saying in law enforcement: if you don't take the time to talk,
Yeah.
be prepared to fight.
Yeah.
And I could handle the fighting part because of my martial arts background,
Yeah.
but it's much easier just to talk the guy into turning around, putting his hands behind his back, and all the guys, other cops I work with used to laugh at me because when we had what's called an EDP,
Yeah.
emotionally disturbed person, be it drugs, suicidal, whatever, they'd say, let's get a hold of Smith.
Yeah.
Because I could talk to him.
Yeah. And calm them down.
Yeah, calm them down.
It's a very important skill.
Yeah, and I was confident enough in my fighting skills that I could get close to them, and if something goes wrong, I can handle that situation.
Yeah.
You know, but they used to say, Smith, he's good at talking to the mentally ill because he's one of them. I'm like, thank you.
Did you ever do like psychotherapy, like therapy in your life with a therapist ever?
I was involved in 2 shootings as a cop, and it's...
Well, that's physiotherapy, right? Or if you're
know.
repairing your body. I mean more like for the mental, because that's where I learned. I had a rough period in my life at one point, and I had some hard things I was going through, so I had to go through some therapy at some point to work out some of those issues. And that story is for another day, but I learned a lot of people skills through working with psychologists and psychotherapists and different things, because their whole entire business is working with people, right? So I didn't go and get a psychology degree like the therapist would, but I've spent many hours with therapists, and you do learn a lot about why people do what they do, what motivates people to make the decisions that they make, what drives people to act certain ways versus others, And that is all very, very helpful when it comes to business.
Yeah, and if you look at the most famous motivational personal development person in the world is Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one. I mean, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I met him. He endorses my system.
Yeah, I saw that.
Along with a few other celebrities, but he's the one. He said, "You want to be wealthy? What kind of car do you want to drive?"
Yeah.
And I said, "A Mercedes."
Yeah.
He says, "Go test drive a Mercedes. You can't afford to buy it now, but the salesman's not going to turn down a test drive."
Yeah.
And that's what, once you drive a Mercedes, you really don't. Maybe a BMW.
Yeah.
But I love the Mercedes, and I just bought one 2 months ago.
Yeah, brand new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
This looks beautiful, man. So, with over 4,000 houses flipped, can you share one of your most challenging experiences and how you overcame it during that process of and was flipping the 4,000 houses, is that all 4,000 you flipped, or is that 4,000 between you and what you helped your students
No,
do?
that's all on my own.
Okay.
All on my own.
Yeah, so what were your most challenging experiences during that? How did you overcome them?
It's funny that you mentioned that because there was a show, I think it was called Flip or Flop.
Yeah.
It's a house flipping TV show, and they called me up.
Yeah.
They wanted me to, host, a couple episodes.
Yeah.
And then the lady started to ask me questions. She said, "I bet you have a lot of drama and problems with contractors and this and that." I said, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
In fact, if you followed me around, you'd be bored to death. Because, I don't have problems in the business.
Yeah.
Because I do it the same way every time.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a time where, I had, one time I had a guy snake a deal from me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he did it, because he ran into me all the time. I sold him a ton of houses on contract assignments, one of the things I teach, and he snaked the deal.
Yeah.
I said, "What am I gonna do? Get an attorney?"
Yeah.
I kept his money.
Yeah.
That's what he did think through.
Yeah.
I mean, I charge up front.
Yeah.
I don't wait till the closing. You want this deal? You pay me now.
Yeah.
$2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But he by far ruined his reputation.
Yeah.
To the point where he had to get out of the business.
Yeah.
And I had numerous people tell me that, "Hey, this guy is so and so. He's trying to steal deals from you." I said, "Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to be taken out behind the building and taught CPD, Cleveland Police style, how to correct behavior." But I'm just joking. But that's really, that's really the only major problem, if you want to say it, I've ever had.
Yeah. What about that period of your life that you were telling me about, where, and it might not have been directly related to flipping those 4,000 houses, but it's something that went on during the process of it. What about when you went through the divorce with your wife, and then you ended up losing all of the real estate that you had at the time? You almost had to start from scratch.
Well, I literally lost everything.
Yeah.
I was forced into it. My ex-wife didn't do it.
Yeah.
We did get divorced, but one of my tenants claimed that she got injured because of my property.
Yeah.
So the attorney. Here's the thing you got to know about attorneys. It's not like on TV. They don't take on a case for the love of justice or anything like
they're
that.
trying to make money, man.
They want to know, first thing they want to know, can I get paid?
Yeah.
And I was dumb enough that I had like 50 8 rental units.
And this is why you put asset protection in your program and say, do not fucking have rentals right away now, too.
No,
right?
don't have rentals.
So you have 58 units, and then...
And then, trust me, I took very good care of them.
Yeah.
I had some tenants on Section 8, Section 8 vouchers. That's like sort of like a welfare to pay their rent. I can remember one month I got a check for $25,000 from the housing authority.
Holy smokes!
Yeah. But a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
We could do another podcast on
that whole event.
Yeah.
So you would say that was probably, even though the actual, so this is why your system evolved to where it is. Obviously, like the flipping itself, as you were saying, I never had a problem flipping. I had a system that was repeatable, it was scalable, it worked every time, I could do it efficiently and effectively. But when it came to then starting to accumulate rentals, that's where problems started coming into your life. So once you had all those problems, you essentially got rid of them, or you were forced to get rid of them.
I was forced into bankruptcy. I don't know if they can do this in Canada, but in the United States, they can force you into involuntary bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And they foreclosed on all the properties.
Yeah.
So my credit was shit after all of that. And then I said, I'm a pretty tenacious guy. I don't like to give up on anything.
Yeah.
What I learned is, if you're going to be a landlord, wait until you can pay cash out of your individual retirement account to buy the building.
Yeah.
Not have like I had 58 rentals, but they were all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And east side, west side, and I had 4 on one street.
Yeah.
And this is kind of some sick humor, but I had a tenant that stopped paying her rent.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she got shot and killed.
Yeah.
Across the street. And so all the tenants are like, man, they were calling me at the police department. Hey, you can get your rent?
Yeah.
Come to get your rent?
Yeah.
It's sick. It's a sick thing to say, but because she was a nice lady, but and I just saw, all these gurus out there teach how to become a landlord because it's so easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, anybody can go out there and buy a rental house.
Yeah.
But what they don't consider is the cash flow.
Yeah.
How much are you cash flowing every month?
Yeah.
On that particular rental?
Yeah.
And if somebody's cash flowing $500 a month on a property in Cleveland, Ohio, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it only takes one hot water tank to go out.
And your profit's gone for the year.
Your profit's gone, and then, I mean, you name it. Tenant stops paying your rent.
Yeah. And the carrying costs are crazy.
And I want to give everybody a free lead here.
Yeah.
What I do on a regular basis to find sellers of houses, I go down to the Cleveland Justice Center, and on the 3rd floor, that's where you file evictions.
Yeah.
These people are evicting their tenants, so they're having a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I would leave my marketing materials there.
Yeah.
The girls behind the counter were always like, "There he is again. There he is again." But
that makes sense.
It worked.
Yeah.
And it's something that they don't teach this stuff out there at these seminars.
Yeah.
Like probate deals.
Yeah.
The best way to get a probate deal is to work with funeral home directors.
Yeah.
I know that sounds sick, but who finds out someone's dead?
Yeah.
Before the court.
Yeah.
Funeral, they got to bury him.
Yeah.
And one thing a lot of people don't realize is, when someone dies, and unless they've had insurance or something like that, these funeral home directors get stiffed.
Yeah.
that's a little joke, you know. Still,
Well, yeah, but like, I don't think it's even that sick. I mean, they need to sell the property, right?
Yeah.
They need to, you're doing a service for them, right?
Yeah, and I also pay I pay my $1,000 referral fee.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the funeral home director gets the funeral paid for.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the people came into some money.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's when someone dies, oh, the family members, they go crazy over collected. That's free money.
Oh yeah, the inheritance thing.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense. Now I can see how your system completely came to be, right? Like you were flipping, then you started accumulating rentals, that failed, and then now, like you said, you had the rentals all over the place. They're spread out. Now you say flip houses until you can buy an apartment building in all cash and then buy it, because then you're going to have multiple units, which will reduce the risk, but they're all going to be in the same place, and you won't have a chance of foreclosure if it's paid for.
Right.
So
Right.
Makes a lot of sense. Now I see exactly how your life turned into your system. That's awesome.
I want to meet this guy.
All right. Well, you're in luck. We got him here today. So let's switch gears here, super quick, Chuck, to your life. Everybody wants to know you, of course, and I personally love hearing the turnaround stories from everybody that they bring, their success stories. So everybody has a point in their life where they weren't successful, right? And then usually they have a transformation moment, and they have a moment where they become successful. So what was Chuck Smith like before he reached success?
Well, if you're talking prior to any real estate investing, I was just a dedicated, hardworking cop.
Yeah.
I've never run a business prior to getting into real estate. Struggling to pay bills, you know. And there's a saying, you live paycheck to paycheck. I was living on next month's paycheck. I was working security guard jobs, you know, that pay off-duty cops.
Yeah.
Stand there and be a target.
Yeah.
In case a robber comes in. But you know, and once I started, I was a little apprehensive about retiring from the police force because I don't get a pension.
Yeah.
Because I was only on 15 years.
Yeah.
But my first year doing it part-time, I made about $150,000 cash in hand.
Wow. Yeah,
Flipping houses, part-time.
Yeah.
Then it shot up to $500,000.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, you know what? It's time to hang up the...
Is that what created your addiction to real estate, I guess? Like
Yeah.
That's how I view it. Everybody, they have this one kind of turning point, or they get into a new career, a new business, and they make big money for the first time in their lives, and then usually they're addicted after, and they just go harder and harder and harder, and things blow up from there.
Yeah, and it's basically what it was because, you know, a little funny story. I started making so much money while I was still a cop that I bought a nice big fancy house for my wife and 4 kids and me.
Yeah.
Internal Affairs
Yeah.
was investigating me because they thought I was doing something illegal, like selling dope out of the police car or something. I actually caught them outside of my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, investigating?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
They were just, you know, I drove
That's
by
crazy.
and gave them the 1-finger wave and kept going. But
Yeah. So did you, when you were first starting too, did you said you went to a lot of seminars, things like that. Did you have one specific one that you went to that was the change for you, or was it a series of a bunch?
it was a series of them because anybody that's been to any type of wealth building seminar, they're getting pitched constantly.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll pay $3,500 to go to the boot camp.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, the boot camp.
Yeah.
And then while they're there, the guy that's teaching the seminar brings in other speakers to sell, and they do that with other speakers selling, and then in turn, when that speaker that's selling has a seminar, he invites this person or persons to to sell at their boot camp. So it's like an incestuous little pond, you know. And that's why at my boot camps, they're 100% teaching.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have people come in and sell $1,000 programs or whatever.
Yeah.
It's 100% teaching.
Yeah.
And believe me, it's 2 days and I'm exhausted afterwards.
Yeah.
Because people, you know, you got a lot of questions. You may have a bunch of beginners in there, or you'll have, a seasoned investor. And when I'm talking about a subject, he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that really does happen."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what were some of the things that you had to let go of, or some of the things that you had to change about you to transform your life and become more successful?
Well, I can give a lot of credit to Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I've been to numerous events, he's put on. I've read all his books, all his courses. It's just, because I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
I grew up, we were a poor family.
Yeah.
We lived in the ghetto.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything like that, but his stuff is great.
Yeah.
I would give him, I'd give him 100% credit for getting me motivated.
Yeah.
And teaching me things. Another guy I studied under was Marshall Silver.
Yeah.
Great guy. In fact, he just interviewed me last week.
Yeah.
He had me on his show as a guest for his radio show, but people like that, and it changes your mindset.
Yeah.
When you start, when I got to the point where I had no bills.
Yeah.
My wife at the time was driving a brand new luxury sports car.
Yeah.
Not a sports car, but a SUV.
Yeah.
And the house was paid off.
Yeah.
And then she divorced me.
Yeah. Insane.
No, but she's a great woman. I still, I meet her for lunch at least once a week.
Yeah.
We go to family gatherings together. We don't fight or anything like that. She's the mother of my children.
Yeah.
So,
fair. Yeah.
I
agree.
I think my number one asset that I have is how to build relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, with anybody I'm doing business with.
Yeah.
I always treat people with respect. I'm always kind. I had, you'll go into some houses that need a lot of work.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was, he was another Cleveland police officer. We went to look at this house, and he's a great guy with a big heart, but he's got an abrasive attitude, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
He tells this guy, "Oh man, this place should be condemned."
Really?
And the guy threw both of us out of his house.
Yeah.
See, I don't take that approach.
No.
The way I'll phrase it is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you've got some deferred maintenance here, and I understand you're having financial problems.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
That's how I handle it. And then they're like,
feels a little bit better.
yeah, and I'll spend a good 5 minutes playing with the dogs.
Yeah.
Or whatever cat or whatever pet they have. I don't play with rats. I hate rats.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the ghetto, and those things, they were like I used to joke that we thought they were chihuahuas, but they didn't bark.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So,
God.
but it's relationship.
Yeah.
It's not sales skills.
No.
It's the ability to have empathy.
Yeah.
And some sympathy sometimes.
I agree. Those are powerful words. I agree with that. That's a lot of the stuff you learn in, therapy or psychotherapy or psychology.
Yeah, I might need some therapy. I mean, according to some people, but no. I mean, I had to go through 2 therapy sessions because it's protocol whenever you're involved in a shooting.
Yeah.
And
oh, for the PTSD stuff. Yeah.
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 And I was 3 weeks out of the police academy.
Yeah.
And I got into my first shooting.
Yeah.
3
Holy
weeks.
Crap, man. Yeah.
I'm like,
Holy shit! What did I sign up for?
And I didn't have a steady girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
so I called. My dad and I were always close.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I called him like 3 in the morning
Yeah.
when internal affairs was done with me and all that. And I said, Dad, I got into a shooting and I killed a guy.
Yeah.
He said, wow. He said, but you're okay?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He said, well, it was either you or him.
Yeah. That's true.
And you know, I don't really have any problems with nightmares or anything like that. Usually, they don't, my dreams don't make any sense anyway. So,
Well, that's good. Was it? Yeah, that's an insane story. So what happened?
guy died.
Well, but like what? Like
Oh, they
was
well,
it a domestic dispute? Was he
no,
speeding and he got angry?
no,
Pulled him over,
it was a he was robbing an auto parts store.
And he had a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was burglarizing it
Yeah,
because it was closed.
Yeah.
And I hit him from 50 feet in the dark.
Yeah.
Center mass.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and you have to go through the therapy. They got to make sure you're not too crazy.
Yeah.
You got to be a little bit crazy to be a cop, anyways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some said I was overqualified in that department. So,
Well, that's why you ultimately ended up moving out of it too. So would you say, that the process of transformation in life, when you're transforming your life, is that more of a removal of junk, or is it an addition of new things? Which would you say it's more of?
Definitely changed my outlook on life.
Yeah.
I mean,
So did you have to remove your old outlook, or did you have to add?
well, yeah, I
anything
did a
to
lot.
it?
I did a lot of learning through like Tony Robbins and
Yeah.
Marshall Silver.
Yeah.
That because I had no example. I mean, my
Yeah.
parents were poor. They worked hard.
Yeah.
They were great parents, but they didn't teach me anything about a business or making money. Or
Yeah.
so I had to,
You had to go find people who could.
I had to rewire my brain.
Yeah. 100%. And
I
I
mean,
think that's probably the best decision that you've ever made in your life to
Yeah.
do, because there's two ways to learn financial education. You pay people who can teach you, or you grew up with parents who could teach you, or you're going to learn the hard way from the real world, and you will be taken advantage of financially until you've learned. Like, people don't know things about interest rates or things that you're saying, and then they take on bad debts, and then next thing you know, they're like, why am I so broke? It's like, well, here's your first lesson on financial management, right? So you can learn the hard way or the easy way, and that sounds like a great decision that you made.
Yeah, I have a saying I've used for years now at my seminars. If your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep will become your downfall.
Yeah.
So you got to be. I mean,
like
I
that.
always tell my students, I say, look, you're going to be making a lot of money.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it. First, pay off all your bills.
Yeah.
Pay off your house.
Yeah.
Don't go out and buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Pay and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. Not having to go work for some boss that you hate.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. And then as you gradually increase your business, your profits, then if you want to go out and buy the big fancy house, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it with cash.
Yeah.
You can buy a new sports car. For some reason, guys my age, they have to have a sports car. I don't know. I mean, I don't have it to pick up women. That's not what I have. I've loved the cars.
Yeah.
All the cars, the Mercedes Benz that I've owned all along. So
I think it's about feeling like all of the sacrifice that you made paid off.
yeah, and it's funny when you're driving a new Mercedes.
Yeah.
Women look at you like you're Brad Pitt. Every now and then you get a little wink or something like that, but
That's funny. So I think, we were talking a little bit about this earlier too. I think one thing that's common, and we spoke about that transformation point in your life, and maybe that first year that you made $150,000 for the first time ever, after you were used to working your ass off just to make 50. Now you made 150, not working nearly as hard. you know, that might have created that addiction where you're like, okay, I need to do this more. I need to take this seriously. So I think one thing that's common in high achievers like yourself is obsession. What is your obsession right now?
Oh, I mean, I used to flip anywhere from one month I did 18 flips.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a machine going.
Yeah.
I mean, literally a machine.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where, you know, I really love teaching this stuff.
Yeah.
So now I coach people. As you know, I do coaching programs.
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
Yeah.
But
Well, some of them you can start for cheap too. You
Yeah.
have online courses that are very affordable, and
yeah,
they're not just some crap you threw together like just your notes. They're very professionally done, very edited, very structured. I've seen them. They're amazing.
from a high school graduate. And, you know, my ex-wife would argue that I even have that. But,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you talk about life changes. I remember one time she went out and bought a pair of jeans that cost $475.
Yeah.
And all the, you know, the handbags and all that stuff. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think the same thing every time I see my girlfriend buying stuff like that too. It's worse now, man. Now they have the online ads. So now girls will just sit there and scroll. They'll see an ad, they'll buy it. They'll see another ad, they'll buy it. They'll see another ad, they buy it.
Yeah.
Imagine if she could have got those $475 pair of jeans laying in bed. How many more would she buy?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, so that's awesome. So would you say your obsession now has, you know, you obsessed with flipping before, now it's shifted over to more of the teaching, trying to get it online, trying to get it out to people around the world.
Yeah, I still do like 2 or 3 flips a month.
Yeah.
You know, because I think you got to stay in the game.
Yeah.
And be sharp.
Yeah, I agree.
Or you know,
a coach should be doing, well, they don't have to be, but like a good person to teach is doing stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you can make sure that you have information for your students that is up to date. Like, well, I flipped a house last month. Here's what you do.
Yeah, I did take a couple college courses, enough to find out that I'm not college material, but I took one on specifically on writing a business plan.
Yeah.
This was years ago.
Yeah.
And I wrote this business plan. It's like 353 pages.
Yeah.
And I mean, the professor gave me an A+ on it.
Yeah.
And you know, I set that down in front of potential private lenders.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I say, this is my motto. This is what I go by. This is how I do my business.
And that helps you raise money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's very important.
And it's funny with private lenders, man.
Yeah.
They get greedy.
Of course.
I mean, one guy was a CPA, and he lent me, I can't remember the amount. It was on a cheap house, like $50,000 he loaned.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had it sold within 3 days, and he got his money back. He got his money back plus 50% of the fee that we got when we sold it.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't remember how he said. He said that's like 400% return on my money. And you know, that's the thing when we're talking about private lenders. You don't need a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You only need a few.
Yeah.
Because they're like, when we doing the next one?
Yeah.
You know, and they build up their IRAs and word gets around too. They'll tell their friends about you and
Yeah, so a few good private lenders, do a good job for them. They'll want to keep giving you more and more money. Your business will be able to grow from there.
yeah.
That's awesome. So what was the one moment that you thought you would fail and maybe that you made the wrong decision?
Well, you know, when I got into flipping houses, I was a little hesitant because I just lost. all the rental properties that I owned.
Yeah.
My credit was shot. I can remember my wife crying at bankruptcy court.
Yeah.
You know, so imagine this: telling after you go through all that, telling her, "Hey, you know, I'm getting back into real estate." She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "No, no, no." And she would go to the seminars with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I went all over the country for seminars, and she liked the traveling, but she never sat in a classroom or anything. So, but
So you never actually had a moment that you thought you would fail, or that you thought you knew you made the right decision with real estate, and you actually did fail one time and then rebuilt completely from there.
yeah, I think that lesson taught me. If that had not happened to me, I would still be buying rentals.
Yeah.
You know, and not flipping properties.
Yeah.
So at the time I was a little scared.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
know,
and even back to your point about the rentals, like you could have $500 a month of cash flow from one rental property, or you could flip one property with a modest, let's say you had a smaller profit of 20,000, right? Instead of the big ones like 180,000 that you're making. That 20,000 amortized over the year, that is almost $2,000 a month from one property.
you know, I
the hold all year.
I could never figure out how to do what you're talking about. In my simple little mind,
Yeah.
Chuck buys house for $200,000.
Yeah.
Chuck sells it for $250,000.
Yeah.
He made $50,000. I don't know how to, you know, I could do money math in my head, but I never could figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm buying and I'm making a nice profit, I know it's working.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's and I mean that's the point, is flipping properties can actually be more profitable than rentals.
Yeah,
with less work put in and less risk. And
yeah.
less carrying costs.
And
no headaches.
I tell people all the time, I say, you know, because my system is very extensive.
Yeah.
Like there's a section in in my main course on retailing. That's buying, renovating, and selling a property.
Yeah.
Now, that's actually the hardest part of the business.
Yeah.
So I tell my students, start out with doing some contract assignments,
Yeah.
wholesale deals,
Yeah.
this and that. And then that way, when you meet with a private lender, you don't want to meet with a private lender having not done a deal yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to go over too well.
Yeah. They're going to tell you to get out.
Yeah. But and then you get to experience.
Yes.
And you're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
I have one student. He's in the Cleveland area.
Yeah.
He's making $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Just on contract assignments.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to. I ask him all the time. Every time I run into him, I say, you know, why don't you wholesale this, or why don't you? He said, Chuck, man, I'm happy with my $200,000 a year.
Yes.
I got no headaches. I get paid up front.
Yeah.
So.
So when you're getting into real estate, you should be willing to start small and go slow in the beginning and build up over time. And as that experience builds, you'll be more confident. People will trust you more. You'll have the confidence you need to do more and ask for more. They will have the trust that they need to want to give you more, and your business will grow exponentially over time. But the first few years might be a little bit slow, so don't give up during that period.
Actually, it's not slow.
No. Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess your first year is 150, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was cranking the deals out.
Yeah.
And I have students all over this country that are doing more, making more money than I am, simply because they're, you know, like one's in Los Angeles, San Francisco. I mean, I've got them from all the markets. They're making more money. If people ask me, don't you get jealous? I said, no, man. It's like raising a great kid.
Yeah. That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Chuck, what inspired the transition from law enforcement to real estate investing, and how did your previous career influence your approach to real estate, if it did at all?
Well, being in law enforcement for 15 years, every good street cop knows how to talk to people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking mentally ill, people high on drugs, you name it. Even you know, somebody who's like temporarily, they're they're upset about something. Maybe it's a family fight, you know. So that everything I learned on the job in 15 years, I took with me in the real estate.
Yeah.
The transition, smooth as hell.
Yeah. So
Going from making 53,000 a year to, you know,
6 figures or more.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So that, I guess the transition, that's what got you all the people skills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So when did you start realizing, because we spoke a bit about your journey, how the system came to be, the trials, the tribulations, your past experiences, how those all contributed to the system that you have today. At what point during your real estate investing career did you sit back and think to yourself, I should be systemizing, like I should be recording, and when did the system start being created?
Well, I started it was very rudimentary. I mean, it was basically a legal pad and a pen.
Yeah.
And I would write down what worked,
Yeah.
why it worked, what didn't work, why it didn't work. And then I was still on a job for like 2 more years after I got into flipping houses. And I had a guy that I worked with, a good friend, who he typed it all out for me. He created those images and all that you and Fletcher were laughing at me about. But and then started getting approached by other real estate investors.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, they're wanting to find out. Hey, they'd say, "Hey, how'd you get this house?"
Yeah.
Nice try, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, and it went from there. I had a friend that owned a mortgage company, and he had a event going on. He had me come up there and speak, and I actually made 3,000.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like,
This is great.
I'm on to something.
Yeah.
It beats getting, you know, shot at. I mean, but and actually the system has been revamped like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it so easy that a 6th grader, someone with a 6th grade education, would know how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the system that came about.
Yeah. And was part of making the system, was part of that for scaling your business too? Like you said, that bringing the system, when you're meeting with private lenders, that helps you with raising capital. The system would also allow you to have a repeatable process that you can get all of the staff who are helping you to follow. Was part of it systemizing so you could have a bigger business?
Yeah, sort of in a way. I mean, I just got addicted to the money.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nothing for me to crank out 12. One month I did 18 deals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how my numbers are so high. 4,000 houses. I was a flipping machine.
Yeah.
And
to do that, you need a system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there wasn't one out there. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. There wasn't one out there that was foolproof, and I know would work for someone like me with only a high school education.
Yeah.
So I created the system.
Yeah.
And I would find out things like why you should have multiple corporations, dummy corporations or dummy LLCs sitting around. I learned how to wholesale the house to myself.
Yeah.
Collect maybe $5,000 and then turn around and sell it to somebody else.
Yeah. That's smart. Yeah. So that's actually interesting. So can you explain? And by the way, this is not vodka, this is water.
Right, yeah, good point.
But can you explain the core principles? And maybe before we get into this, how long did it actually take you to make that system before it was ready for the public? Because Dude, it's huge. You cover like everything. There's hundreds and hundreds of pages. It's all very nicely organized. It's very detailed. How long did it take you to make that before it was ready for the public?
Oh man, if you saw the first, I'll call it the prototype.
Yeah.
You would laugh your ass off. I mean, it just looked like a third grader wrote it, so. But I would say over a 2-3 year period, I developed my own system.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. I went to a seminar on doing probate deals.
Yeah.
And it was actually it was taught by an attorney, but it was actually a very good seminar. So I'm like, man, I went out and did a couple probate deals.
Yeah.
And I put that system together.
Yeah.
So that's basically it's probably took about 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the first recording, I hate to say it, but you could hear the cat.
Yeah.
My wife's cat in the background.
That's hilarious. But I feel like that's, the iterations of any successful business. Like, you look at the iPhone 14, it looks amazing. You look at the iPhone 1, looks like a piece of junk.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, everything improves over time. So can you explain the core principles behind your real estate systems, like wholesaling, then flipping, then buying and holding apartments? What's the process you actually recommend, and how does it contribute to long-term wealth building for your clients?
Well, I think I tell all my students, if they're inexperienced, because sometimes I'll get students that come to my seminars, and they've done a few houses.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody, I say, look, start with contract assignments.
Yeah.
If you make $2,000-$3,000 for a couple hours worth of work, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And do a bunch of those, and then when you're comfortable, go on to wholesaling.
Yeah.
Where I'll give you an example. Like I had a few years ago, I had a guy that wanted to be a landlord.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't tell him about all I went through when I was a landlord. I said, okay. And he said, and I want the houses, I want them renovated.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, it's going to cost you a lot more.
Yeah.
If I got to supervise these guys, working on your house. So, that's one of my niches. I like to focus on people who want to become landlords.
Yeah.
Because I can make the most money off of them than probably, say for example, I've got guys that they do nothing but rehabs.
Yeah.
They buy a property and they renovate it.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is, if you're buying a property and you're renovating it, and if you're going to sell it or rent it out, it takes, a few months.
Yeah.
But I'll do that. I'll do that for them. I'll hire the contractors.
Yeah.
And I'll get it all done, but I'll make a lot more money that way.
Yeah.
But I think I forgot your question.
No, you answered it. It was more like the process and how it contributes to long-term wealth. So I think you answered that. How do you adapt your coaching methods right now to suit both beginners and experienced investors in today's rapidly changing market?
Well, it's pretty much the same for both types of people, because I tell them, I always start off my seminar with saying, look, you paid good money to be here.
Yeah.
I promise you, if you have non-critical acceptance and believe everything I'm telling you,
yeah.
you will go out there and you will make money.
Yeah.
I've had people in my seminars that were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
With flipping houses, but they constantly come back and tell me, hey, I make a lot more money now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had students that make an absolute killing on their first deal.
Yeah. So you take a hands-on approach to coaching, which is very highly praised in the market. In my opinion, it's the best type of coaching. Can you give an example of how this approach has helped transform a beginner to a successful investor?
Oh, Lord.
They could also look at the testimonials on your website and
Yeah,
see 10 of them, but what's one that's really stuck out to you that you really remember?
I really remember the guy that just got out of prison.
Yeah.
I'll never forget him. I'm not going to mention his name, but he came to my seminar. The guy was hilarious. I mean, he was just hilarious. Couple people who I hate to say had low-level jobs.
Yeah.
Labor-intensive jobs.
Yeah.
No brains required,
Yeah.
like a janitor or something
Yeah.
like that. Literally, this guy in
Construction worker, maybe.
yeah.
I think it's it can be a really natural transition for a lot of construction workers to go from actually doing the renovations of the house to then, managing a team that will renovate a house that they're then flipping, right?
Yeah, I always tell everybody though, because there's always that one person in class that says,
Yeah, there's always,
I'm going to go do it on my own.
Always, yeah.
I'm going to go do it on my own, and I'm going to retail a house. I'm going to buy it, renovate it, and then sell it.
Yeah.
And they always come back to me and say, "Man, you were right. This was, especially."
You should have just listened.
Should have just listened.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of guys out there and gals that have skill sets and the trades and this and that. But I'm telling you, after you renovate your first house, you won't want to do it again. I mean, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I've renovated my personal houses.
Yeah.
Back when I couldn't afford to hire anybody to do it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather get in, get out, get paid quickly.
Yeah.
I always joke, I date my properties.
Yeah.
I'm not marrying them.
Yeah.
So that was funny. You're supposed to laugh at that.
No, I agree, and I completely agree, and I've heard it many times before. One of the best rules in negotiations or anything is get what you need, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And just be a good person. Be nice to people. I mean, I can remember being broke.
Yeah.
Not having, two nickels to rub together and having to go out and work off-duty security jobs, so I could get formula for my kids, so, and I was raised in the ghetto.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking the ghetto. I went to school in the projects.
Yeah.
And
Which part of Cleveland?
it was East 40th and Central.
Okay.
Central Junior High.
Yeah.
I think they tore it down or somebody blew it up or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's where I got a college education in street fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when I got into the martial arts and I mean
before you're even old enough to go to college.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that guy, he came from prison to one of your seminars, and you helped him go from someone maybe with nothing, he just got out of prison, doesn't have a job, maybe he's unemployable, to successful real estate investor. How long did it take him to see that transition?
Well, he didn't. He came to the seminar, but he didn't get into my coaching program. So it's hard for me to say, because this happens with a number of students.
Yeah.
They get going, they're being successful, and then you don't hear from them for 2-3 years. And I've been doing this 24 years, so I think his biggest asset was his girlfriend, because she could talk to people, and he was funny as hell.
Yeah.
But he would say some off-color things,
Yeah.
and, but
she would close the deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, what do you think is the importance of learning from people who have done it before, getting the correct knowledge and mindset of achieving success? Obviously, you highlight a lot of those things in your seminars and in your coaching. What are some of the key mindset shifts that you recommend to new real estate investors?
Well, the first thing, if you're going to buy any real estate course or especially expensive coaching, you want somebody that's been in business a number of years. I mean, if I had it to do all over again, I would have found myself and hired myself.
Yeah.
And, because you got so many people out there, so much, it's like a literal bullshit.
Yeah.
You could tell these guys, they've done by the things that they say. Because I go, one of the things I do whenever there's a free real estate seminar that comes to Cleveland, I go there, but I'm not going there to listen to this asshole that's up there.
Yeah.
I go there and find buyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the other half of the value of a seminar like that, is you get to build connections with other people that you could do future business with. You're not only going to a seminar to learn, but you're going to a seminar to get in a room of like-minded individuals. And if you can do business with those like-minded individuals, that seminar can pay off 100-fold easily from just one good connection.
Absolutely. And I would say, find somebody that's got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody that's done 4,000 houses.
Yeah.
I think it's about 4,300 now. But
I know one who has.
Really?
Right there.
Oh,
He's
you
sitting
me
across
going
from
there. I'm like,
Who else?
I'm in Canada. I don't have my gun with me, but I'm going to go find this guy. But, find somebody that's got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And, I remember going to I was doing a seminar in a hotel, and I since learned to have a clause in the contract that no competitors basically could be doing the same thing there.
Yeah.
But I went in and I sat in on a very famous guy's seminar, free seminar, who became president.
Oh, Trump.
And he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
If he'd have been there, it would have been great. And one of the mistakes he made is that he hired all of his instructors. They had to have a PhD or a master's degree.
Yeah.
Because I thought about going to work for him for a little while,
Yeah.
But
because same thing, you want to learn from someone who's done it. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about. They used to call me Little Donald Trump. Some people, but I met him. He endorses my system. I don't get into politics with anybody. They hate him, they love him, but.
So, would you say one of the key mindset shifts then, new real estate investors need to go through? Not only do you need to get into the mindset of being a business owner and not an employee, but at the same time, you need to invest into yourself more, and you also need to invest into your network. Real estate can't be the only thing you're investing in. You have to invest in you have to invest in your network, and you have to invest in real estate. Those three things can create $1 million businesses.
I'm telling you, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've spent probably around $100,000 on seminars, and I still go to them every now and then.
Of course.
And I would not be where I'm at with either business, flipping business or teaching seminars, if I hadn't done that. I mean, like when Tony Robbins or Marshall Silver, one of the two, said, "You want a Mercedes? Go test drive one." And before I even did my first seminar. I went to Marshall Silver's, he had a seminar on how to do seminars.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, it was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I mean, and I give him a lot of credit for getting me started in this business.
Yeah. And honestly, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, and I don't actually think I've ever told it publicly online either, but every single thing that I'm doing right now, my entire business, even how I know how to do what I'm doing right now literally started with going to a seminar.
Yeah.
If I didn't go to that seminar, I wouldn't be here right now. And that's a guarantee. And what I did, I was actually working as a construction worker. And I was broke, and I wasn't making a lot of money, and it was a physically intensive job. So I really didn't like the job, right? And I was looking for a way to get out. And online is what I grew up in. I've been born into technology. I'm comfortable with it. So my idea was always to start an online business. But I had 6 online businesses in a row that failed. And I couldn't figure out, why do these online businesses keep failing? So then I came up with the idea that, okay, I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. It's going to make me insane. So I need to pivot. I need to find a new path to create wealth. And my new idea was to flip houses. It was to get into real estate investing. And I had $300 left in my bank account. I still remember I was sitting out front of a car dealership. I was young. I was 17 at the time. My mom was inside looking for a new car. So this was 7 years ago, right? And I was sitting in the passenger seat of her car in the car dealership parking lot waiting for her to come back out. And I was looking at these tickets, and I looked at my bank. There's like $306 left in it. And I looked at the tickets online. They're $300, right? So I would have had $6 left in my bank after I bought it. And I was really sitting there debating: should I spend my last $300 on it? Should I not spend my last $300 on it? It was a real estate investing conference out in Toronto. It was hosted by a guy named Edwin, and Grant Cardone was going to be attending the event to speak there for an hour. So I said, you know what, I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to find out new paths to wealth. So I'm going to go to the seminar. So I spent my last $6 left in my account after that, bought the seminar tickets, went out to the seminar a couple weeks later, and I brought a buddy with me. And as we were waiting in line for coffee one of the days, there was somebody he was walking around. He was actually trying to find out where the line was. And he said out loud, "Where's the line?" Every single person ignored him. He's looking around. He said again, "Where's the line?" Nobody replied to him again. Said out loud one more time, "Where's the line?" And I was just like, why is nobody replying to this guy? So I said, just get in line behind me, man. The line's here. So he got in line behind me, and I was wearing a gold watch at the time, and I guess he saw the watch and he said, "Hey, nice watch, man. What type of watch is that?" And we just started talking, and I had done one sales course before that, so I kind of had a little bit of knowledge about how to sell myself to people. So with my limited sales knowledge, I was doing my best to try to sell myself to this guy. One thing led to another. We were talking, and I asked him, why is he here? What did he come out here for? And he told me he was running an online business, and his online business was a real estate education business. He was teaching people how to become full-time real estate investors through selling his courses and programs and coaching and seminars online, right? And when I heard that, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me. If I could find a way to get a job with this guy, not only could I learn the online business side of things that I've been failing at miserably, but I can also go learn how to do real estate investing. And those are the 2 things that I wanted to learn how to do to create wealth. I wanted to learn how to start online businesses, which he's running, and then his online business is teaching real estate. So I was like, if I get this job, I will learn both things that I need in one place. So I was, talking to him about, he said he was 32 years old. He was making $200,000 to $400,000 a month in sales. So I looked at him, and I was trying to sell myself to him. All I could get him to do was take my phone from me and follow himself on Instagram on my phone. And then he said, "Message me sometime and I'll get back to you." And I walked away at first knowing that, like, okay, maybe. But then me and my buddy went back to the seminar room, we sat down, and I had a feeling that, like, I didn't do a good enough job selling myself to him. Like, he's probably gets a million DMs on Instagram. What's the chance that he's actually going to read mine and I'm actually going to get the job? So I looked at my buddy and I said, "Do you think I sold myself well enough to him?" And my buddy just came to the event because I asked him to. He had no fucking clue what's going on. So he looked at me, he's like, "I don't know, man." Like, I have no clue. Like, and I was like, okay, I decided that I didn't. So I walked back out of the seminar room, and I went and found him out in the lobby, and I said, "Hey, come here." And he came back over, and he told me he was at this event because he was going to meet with a new guy who was going to join his sales team. But that guy hadn't shown up yet. So he was kind of just there looking to do an interview, but the guy never showed up. So when I called him back over, I said, "Hey, how serious were you about expanding your sales team?" And he looked at me and he said, "Spencer, I was dead serious." And I said, "Well, I was dead serious when I said I wanted a sales job too. If you told me that I had this job, I will be the hardest working, highest earning guy in your office by the end of month 1, or you can fire me and send me back home guaranteed, and I will also quit everything and I will move out tomorrow and I will start working tomorrow, and I will be hardest working, highest earning, guaranteed. Or fire me and send me back home. Give me 30 days to try. And he looked back at me and he said, Spencer, that is exactly the type of person that I want working for me. And obviously I didn't move out the next day because he wanted me to read 2 of his books. He wanted me to do a 100-question personality test and practice some sales scripts over the phone with his team before I officially moved out and started doing the job with him. But within 2 weeks, I quit my job, told my friends, my family, everybody that I was moving across the country to work for someone for free. They looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, okay, so you went to a seminar, you met a stranger, now you're going to quit your job and move across the country to work for some random dude for free that you spoke to for an hour. I said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I quit my job. In those 2 weeks, I got both book reports done, personality test done, all the sales training done. And in 2 weeks, I was out there and I started the job. And by the end of month 1, I was the highest earning guy in the office. So I didn't get sent home. I spent a year out there living with them in his mansion. He had 40 rental properties around his city. He had a very successful business. We had a small team of 10 people operating that business. And working for him, that's where I learned all of the online business stuff. That's where I learned all of the real estate, and it all started with a $300 seminar ticket. If I didn't buy that $300 seminar ticket, I would not be sitting here right now. I would not have 2 books. I would not have an online business. I would not know how any of this works. So, very, very...
Yes, seminars, you know, I hear this constantly from students that tell me, man, at the end of the seminar, I wish I knew this stuff before I did X number of deals.
Yeah.
Because basically I can promise every one of them that comes to my seminar that you either screwed up a deal and lost money,
yeah,
or left money on the table,
yeah,
that you could have collected.
Yeah.
You didn't do this, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you how many people come to my seminar and they'll use the profits from deals they learned from me, yeah, to pay off their credit card of $30,000 or whatever, yeah, that they spent on seminars. So,
yeah, exactly. And so it's crazy, the power of seminars, the power of networking. I think investing in your network is one of the best things that you can invest in. Yield one of the highest returns of anything. So your story as well, your book, I know we don't have a copy, you forgot your copies in the States, but your book, From Cop to CEO, it's also available on Amazon online. Incredibly inspiring story. What would you say is the most valuable lesson that you've learned on this journey from cop to CEO that you wish to pass on to others?
The ability to deal with people, yeah, on their level.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't pull up to someone's house in my Mercedes if it's in a rough part of town.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna think, oh, this guy just screws everybody, yeah, over.
He's a show off. Yeah. They
yes.
won't relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's smart.
Like I'll use one of my kids' cars or something, or rent a car or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm meeting with private lenders, that's a different story.
Yeah. It's always interesting. Like I see, there's a lot of people. I hear 2 arguments. I'd be curious to actually know what your thoughts are on this, because I've been hearing both sides of the equation for a very long time, and I mean, I haven't really formed my own opinion on it. My actions would say that I have an opinion. Like, I don't have a fancy car. I could go buy a fancy car if I wanted to. I just truly think it's a bit of a waste of money, especially at my age. You're not, my age, with investing, with time, with exponential growth, spending $30,000 on a nice car is a lot more than spending $30,000 on a nice car. Maybe if you're at, you're older, you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, you've given some of your investments and your money and your business the time to exponentially grow, the opportunity cost isn't as large, right? But when you're 23, $30,000, if you invested it into a house at 23, could be worth hundreds of thousands in 10 years, right? So but what I've heard, both sides of the arguments, like I haven't invested in a nice car yet. The other reason I'm asking is because I've been feeling more tempted to more recently, but I still haven't. But some people, they come to me and they say, Spencer, having a nice car, you'll make more money. But then other people, other financial experts, they say having a nice car is a waste of money and it's just purely an ego thing. The guy who I used to work for, who I just told you that story, how I met him at the seminar, he was making $200,000 to $400,000 a month. I kid you not, you could have bought the car he drove around for $2,000 or $3,000. Winnipeg in Canada is one of the areas that has the coldest winters, the most snow, ice everywhere. It's horrible in the winter. And he wouldn't even change, he was so cheap he wouldn't even put snow tires on his car in the winter. You'd see him come around the corner, he's fucking sliding into the curbs, and he was making $200,000 to $400,000 a month, driving a worse car than every single one of the people who worked for him, who was making significantly less than him. But he had a much worse car. But also, he ended up passing away from cancer when he was 33 years old. And a week before he died, he bought all of the things that he's dreaming about. He bought his dream car. So he had the means to do it the whole time too. He just never did. But a lot of people in the real estate industry, I saw a video from the president of Remax. President of Remax, like the whole entire global brand. And he was encouraging Remax agents, go buy a nice car. Your clients will take you more seriously. You'll make more money. You'll have more respect in business. What are your thoughts? Is it a waste of money? Is it a good use of money in business? Is there a specific time that you should do it, or not as a beginner? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I always, especially when I was still in the police force, I always drove some shitty cars.
Yeah.
I spent the money, like at the time it was a Ford Expedition.
Yeah.
Real nice SUV.
Yeah.
For the wife and all the kids, I wanted them safe, and
yeah.
She always drove the nice cars.
Yeah.
And I never broke down and bought something new for myself until maybe 2 years off the police force. I bought a nice Cadillac.
And did it help you make more money after? Or did it just kind of take out of your pocket? But it didn't really matter because you were making so much.
Yeah, I don't. I think you have to. You've got to treat yourself.
Yeah.
We treat everybody else in our family and our friends, everybody we love. We treat them great, because sometimes people forget to treat themselves.
Yeah, I'd say I'm guilty. I have some software, like you could get a new Tesla for $500 a month. I have some softwares I invest in for my team. They're cost $2,000 a month, and then I send out over $10,000 every single month just to the people on my team. I don't give myself shit. So I guess you do have to treat yourself sometimes, but
yeah, and it the main thing is it motivates you.
Yeah.
If you've seen some of the cars that I was driving, I mean, I had one car. I just started flipping houses.
Yeah.
And the thing would run for like 10 minutes after you turned it off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a piece of junk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the guys would laugh at me, all the other cops.
But then you also see, like, you see those videos, and maybe it was just a video, you never know, with stuff online, but you also see videos of Jeff Bezos. He's worth $9 billion. He's driving a $3,000 Honda to work.
Yeah, and if you go to the other extreme, you'll see, I hate these ads. You'll have some
dude worth nothing.
Some
Lamborghini.
Yeah, or standing in front of a Learjet.
Yeah.
And he's implying that he owns. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the Learjet status until you're worth $1 billion. I mean, those things are expensive.
And not only just to buy, but to maintain, the crew, the gas. There's so many more costs to things than just buying it that people don't realize. And I think that's also, why flipping is such an attractive business model for a lot of people. When you buy a car, I learned this lesson with my first car too. You can't just look at the initial price tag. You also have to look at how much is gas going to be every month, how much is maintaining this thing going to cost, and how much is it up front. Those are the three costs. A jet, how much is it up front, how much is it to actually travel, how much is the crew, how much is the maintenance. If you can afford all of that, you can afford it. But if you just bought it based on the price tag, how are you going to pay for the gas and the maintenance and the crew now? Now you got a jet, you can't even use it. Same thing, flipping, very, very low. Like you're buying something, you're holding it for a short time, you're getting rid of it for more money than you bought it for. Very low maintenance costs. You know what I mean? You're not holding that.
Yeah, and it's if you buy a house and keep it, you got to consider, and you rent it out, you got to consider lost opportunity costs. You know, what could I be doing with my money rather than holding on to this house?
Yeah.
And I tell them, because I went through the hell of being a landlord with over 50 units, and I tell my students all the time, you don't start there.
Yeah.
You know, you start with doing some flipping, some contract assignments, stuff like that. You know, so.
100%. All right. So Chuck, when you're getting into real estate investing as a brand new investor, is there, you talk a lot about having people skills, right? But do you need to learn, let's say, sales skills or other skills like that to be successful in the real estate investing business?
No, I my personal opinion is if you need sales skills in my business, you're not buying the right properties. You're not selling the right properties. I'm kind of a lazy guy now. I mean, I'm a lot older. I'm 59 years old.
Smarter. Maybe not lazy, but smarter.
Yeah, I've learned that the deal should sell itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, some people do need to work on their people skills.
Oh, for sure. Majority of people do.
Sales skills, personally, I mean, like, I'll give you an example. I was at the Learning Annex. Almost 25,000 people I was in front of.
Yeah.
The most I've ever been in front of prior to that was 100 people.
Yeah. Wow.
Doing seminars.
Yeah.
But this is why a lot of the other gurus out there hate me.
Yeah.
I got up there and I showed my tax return. I showed HUD statements.
Yeah.
I showed, those are closing statements for anybody that doesn't know. Profit checks, student testimonials.
Yeah.
And that triggered a lot of people to. That's how I became the highest paid speaker, non-celebrity speaker for the Learning Annex, because a lot of people were taking the course they bought before I came on, and they were getting refunded and then buying my stuff. In fact, I won't mention their names, but 5 major gurus at the time all got together and had a little meeting about how to deal with me.
Really? Oh,
and I was told by one of my friends at the time, he was at the meeting, he told me, you can't manage them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
I never say a bad thing personally about anybody that's a guru in anything.
Yeah.
I just don't. I have my own opinions. It's like I don't talk politics to anybody that I'm in business with. But these guys hate me. They're like, I just went from 20,000 to nothing. They're all, and you could see the people before I even finished my closing speech.
Yeah.
People were getting up. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, did I say something to piss all these people off, or they're all leaving? They weren't leaving.
Man, those other gurus, you ruin their business, man. And I actually wrote the same thing in the Online Millionaire book. Is I said I want people to join my programs because they're successful, and that success is why they continue to do business with me, not because they're failing. So now I need to sell them more solutions to their problem. And I feel like the old model of guru was like, give them one piece of the puzzle, but leave out 99 pieces, so they're still going to fail, and then they'll have to come back, and then I'll sell them the next piece, then I'll sell them the next piece, then I'll sell them the next piece, and it's not until you've bought all 100 pieces that you can then go be successful, rather than just giving them everything they need, helping them become successful, and then hoping they come and do business with you again because they were truly successful. And I think that's what you were doing, and why they didn't like that. They're like, what the hell, man? You're taking all our business.
Yeah, they...
Your students actually succeed. Now they don't come to us. Like,
yeah, I mean, my attitude was, I thought I should prove to the people, my potential students, that I'm for real, and I'm doing deals and this and that. And that's why I got out there and showed my tax return.
Yeah.
From real estate flipping, which was at that time over $1 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I pay my taxes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But I really like what you said, like that. I think I really love that. You don't need sales skills, because if you have to sell in this business, you got the wrong property. I've heard that. I've heard the saying many times in just a different way, which is, if you get the right, like, don't worry about where am I going to get the money from. If you get the right property, the money will follow. You'll be able to get the money if you get the property, and if it's a good one, right?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, and a lot. In my seminars, I go into detail how you should talk to the potential seller.
Yeah.
Things that you should say, shouldn't say. Like I told you about my one cop buddy that got us thrown out of a house because he said that house should be condemned, and it actually wasn't that bad. I mean, but, you know, you need to. I mean, dear Lord, these people are humans.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the only people I hate are violent criminals, pedophiles. You know, people that prey on the weak.
Yeah.
Everybody else, man, I don't care. You want to smoke weed? Go ahead, smoke it.
Yeah.
You know, live your life the way you want to live.
Yeah.
You want to be a swinger? You want to have 4 sister wives? God.
Yeah.
Who can handle that? But anyways.
Well, you're in the right country for that attitude, man. In Canada, this weed's legal. So
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So we're coming up on our last few questions here. We'll start flying through some of them. More general questions. What are the top 3 books or courses that changed your life?
Well, the very, very first book I ever read was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Classic.
You know, I actually met him. He's a nice guy. That got me thinking, at least.
Yeah.
One other guy that I think I built him a condo in Florida somewhere because I went to all his seminars.
Yeah.
Ron LeGrand.
Yeah.
And
He endorsed. I saw him because he endorsed your sister
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, wow, you did 4,000 deals.
Yeah.
And he's a hell of a lot older than I am, and he's only done like 3,000. He said. So,
Really?
I don't know. But
Gotta step up his game, man.
and Tony Robbins, you gotta. I mean, you can go online and buy his courses, and implement that if you're dead broke.
Yeah.
You know, and then start generating some money. And I always felt that every deal that I've done, I should put aside a little bit of money for education.
Yeah.
You know, in this business, you don't want to get into in your head that you're the best out there and you got nothing else to learn. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I still go to seminars. I still, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome. And what would you say is one thing that young people need to succeed nowadays in today's climate? Let's say a young guy looking to get into real estate.
Well, I'm going through that right now with my youngest son.
Yeah. So what would you tell him?
Well, what I told him was, Dad, can you, do you think this wholesaling houses is good?
Yeah.
I said, Sam, what do you think I've been doing for 24 years?
How do you think I paid for everything for
Yeah, and so I said, look, I'm just going to give you my whole system.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the manuals. I'll teach you. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm the best at it when it comes to flipping.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we're going through that right now.
Okay, good.
My oldest son.
So what's one thing that you would tell young people like Sam or him, like get into it or stop thinking about it? Like what is?
Well, you know, a lot of kids nowadays they're college educated.
Yeah.
So I say, look, how much did you spend on your college degree?
Yeah.
How much do you owe in student loans that
Yeah.
you know are supposed to be forgiven? Who knows?
Yeah.
But compare that degree to, you know, and you're working a job maybe right out of college making $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Compare that to someone coming to my seminar, you know, and spending several $1,000s and leaving and getting out there and actually doing deals.
Yeah.
There's no comparison. Now, I am not anti-college.
Yeah.
I put all my kids through college.
Yeah.
With the exception of one, my son Alex is autistic, so he obviously couldn't go to college. But I'm pro education.
Yeah, me too.
I am. I mean, you know, it wasn't available to me when I was that age.
Yeah.
You know, I was broke. I mean, right out of high school, I worked as a security guard.
Yeah.
Was going to enroll in a community college.
Yeah.
And got plucked right out of there to go into the police academy.
Yeah.
I wasn't even 21.
Yeah.
You have to be 21 by the date of your appointment,
Yeah.
where you're sworn in. I turned 21 1 month before my graduation.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have, at that point in my life, you could not have talked me out of becoming a cop. That was my dream.
Yeah.
And for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I had a guy the other day on Facebook sent me some nasty message.
Yeah.
Simply because I referred to somebody as brother.
Weird.
He said, that's racist.
Brother.
I said, I've called people in church brother,
Yeah.
sister. I said, by the way, how many black lives have you saved?
Yeah.
He said, none. Why? I said, well, I've got 9 commendations of bravery, risking my own life to save black people's lives.
Yeah.
So he shut up and he left me alone.
Yeah, people. That's the thing about online, man. Everybody has an opinion about something, and they don't even know. I'm sure you weren't even saying brother in a racial way at all. It was
No.
more like, you're my brother. What's up,
No,
brother? Or what's up, bro?
It was actually, what I love about Facebook is I get to talk with police officers all over the world.
Yeah, that's
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Like, if a cop dies, I'll write, rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even if it's somebody who's not a cop, if
Even if they're white
yeah,
or purple
Yeah.
or yellow, they're.
I've yet to see a purple person, but you know, brother. I mean,
I think maybe back in the day that was like a racial term. Nowadays it just means bro. Right?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
up,
I
bro?
mean,
Like-
yeah.
So what is one thing, spoke about the young people, what is one thing that older people, because, you know, starting a new career in real estate investing, it doesn't only have to be for young people who have their whole life ahead of them to create wealth. The guy who started KFC, he didn't start KFC till he was 65 years old, and he became a billionaire. Imagine if he told himself, he is too old and it's too late and I can't get started. He would not have a multi-billion-dollar company. So it's never too late. 65, you're just getting started. What is one thing that older people looking to switch careers, or maybe even having to restart, maybe they lost everything,
Yeah.
and they need to restart at an older age, and they're feeling a little bit hopeless or scared, what should they know to succeed in today's world?
Well, I always tell this, and usually tell this to everybody, You can go to the School of Hard Knocks, where you make every mistake and you fail and this and that, or you could invest in yourself, come to my seminar, and I got one guy in Northbrook, Illinois. That is a very nice area.
Yeah.
And he's actually in one of my testimonials. He's living in $1.5 million home.
Wow.
And he's
awesome.
older. He's older.
Yeah, I saw him at Jim, or I think, or
No.
Jim Hughes. That might have been a different one.
No, that was a different
Changed
one.
too many lives, man. Can't even keep track.
Yeah. I remember some of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely. So, I mean, would you would? It's never too late, is I guess the same message, and the School of Hard Knocks. It'll always cost way more to learn the hard way than to pay people who know and can help you.
Well, someone said you could pay for success in ignorance, or education. I don't remember who said that, but
sounds like
I do actually know how to read, and I read books, so everybody knows out there.
You don't just write them; you can read them too. Yeah. So, are there any resources that you recommend for people starting out who may want to follow a path like yours?
Yeah. They can get a free copy of my book from Cop to CEO right on my website.
Yeah.
Take the time and have a conversation with me.
Yeah.
We book a call, and they'll see that it's me that's calling them.
Yeah.
Not not a team member or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, especially people that they're on the fence and they don't want to buy and this and that. I say, I'll tell you what. Go to so-and-so's event. Tell me what you think about it.
Yeah.
Tell me how much money you've made.
Yeah.
And then, call me back and give me the details.
Yeah.
And then people usually say, because I know all these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know them all. I know about I was on a speaking circuit one time. I can't remember where it was at, but there was a motivational speaker there.
Yeah.
And he was up there giving this big spiel, him and his wife. And then I saw him backstage, and I always ask, I always talk to people, I say, how'd you do? And he's like, these motherfuckers are cheap. I said, what's the subject you speak on again? He said, motivation. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, motivation can be very valuable in and of itself, to be honest.
Get it from the right person, though.
Like every once in a while, sometimes if I feel demotivated, I'll go back over old, courses that I've had and get that motivation back, and it can help. And then I remember, even though I paid, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 for this many years ago, it's still helping me. This is why I paid that money for it. It can help you for a lifetime. So you would say people, if they want to start out, go to your website, get a free copy of your book, book a free strategy session, which will be directly with you, not the Trump style of his team's going to call you instead, but he pretends like it's him. So it's directly with you. Get the free book. Get the courses, right? Get the courses. Learn everything. Read every single page. Memorize the courses. And go out and take action. And with the money you make, join the coaching.
Yeah.
That's good.
The coaching is expensive. I'm not going to deny that, but it's my time.
Yeah.
It's not an employee's time.
Yeah.
It's my time, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we need an open question, and you're in that realm. So if somebody wanted to be Chuck Smith and attempt to break your record of 4,000 houses so that they can call themselves the house flipping king, what would be a great way for them to follow that?
Well, first of all, they got to make sure that they're not going to die of old age, too soon, and be young enough. I mean, I started when I was 30. Well, I retired from the police department when I was 37 years old. Yeah. So, and I've been doing this business 24 years. So, God bless them. I say, man, I hear from students. They'll call me up to brag usually. Hey, I just did this deal. Blah blah blah. I said, God bless you, man. I did my job.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a good kid, you raise a good kid,
Yeah.
and they're a good person. You're proud of them, and that's the way. That's my attitude. And you know, people say, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do this. I say, look, a high school graduate wrote this.
Yeah.
It's experience.
Yeah.
It's from all my trials and tribulations and all that stuff. So,
yeah.
you know, just people waste money on things that are way more than expensive than coming to one of my seminars.
Yeah.
Like the newest iPhone.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't replace a phone until it breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate learning new technology.
Yeah.
You know, we know that.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that very well. Yeah. No, some of them, honestly, man, I think it's true. Like a lot of people who are wealthy think the same way. They're smart about where they put their money. One of the wealthiest people that I know right now personally, he's using an iPhone 8. There's iPhone 15 right now. He's 7 years behind. It still works for him. So, and actually, I saw somebody from Niagara Falls picked up your book not too long ago. You get a new client out here?
Not that I know of.
Somebody just got it this morning. Your book from Niagara.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember his name.
Okay. Yeah. So you did meet somebody out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you have another book too. Do you want to talk about that one at all, or?
Yeah, real quickly. I had this from being a police officer. I had this story in my head.
Yeah.
About a serial killer.
Yeah.
And a very gifted detective that's going after him. So, I mean, I couldn't get the thing out of my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to write the friggin' book.
Yeah.
Then I still couldn't get it out of my head, so I wrote a screenplay.
Yeah.
Now, they're not making it. I'm not making a lot of money on the book, but it's. I have that. I'm afforded that time now.
Yeah.
To relax and do the things that I want.
Yeah.
And the title of the book is American Homicide Detectives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had some like super cops.
Yeah. And you actually went and sat with the detectives writing.
Yeah, I spent. I obviously as a cop I would run across homicide detectives. You know, we have to secure the scene. They come there and they take over.
Yeah.
But I actually went and spent. I was supposed to be 2 days.
Yeah.
With the Cleveland Homicide Unit, and these guys are gifted.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked up to them, and I said, man. With one detective, Ray Diaz, they've all been on that show, The First 48.
Yeah.
You ever watch that?
First 48, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it on, yeah.
But one night, just 24-hour period, we went on 4 or 5 5 shootings, 4 homicides. One guy lived.
Wow.
And I couldn't even stay awake.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do they do this? And then, you know, they go on for 2-3 days working one case without any sleep. So that's just one little thing I did.
Yeah.
And nobody that loves me has ever read the book.
Hey, I just ordered a copy of it. I got one on the way. I'm gonna read it, so I'll be the first. So that's and that one. So that's on Amazon too, and that's been published and everything, just like From Cop to CEO. I think that really shows, you know, how creative you are as a person, because that's a whole, you know, a story that you had to come up with. So I think it really shows how creative you are and disciplined. And you know, it's hard to write a book. I know, I have 2.
And it's expensive too.
Yeah,
I mean,
expensive too. Yeah.
I mean, From Cop to CEO was a grand slam, man. Right out of the park. 500,000 copies sold.
Yeah.
And that was like, the internet was still like the AOL
Like brand
type.
new. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just sell them. I'd go to speaking engagements, and I was thinking, man, what else do I got to sell these people? And then, you know.
Book.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we are getting to the end of our time here. So to leave things off, what's the best way for people to find you, start coaching with you, get your manuals for home study, or come out to an upcoming boot camp? Where can people find you?
Go to my website, Chuck Smith Systems. That's Pearl. ChuckSmithSystems.com, and we've got a boot camp. I was talking with you about this. Probably not for 6 months, but
in the near future.
Yeah, in the near future, we're going to do that, and they can get all my. I've made all of my courses very affordable. Yeah. From the $997 right now. Yeah. We're going to increase that. Yeah. As you know, but $997, you get all my manuals, audio, everything. And if you decide to go into coaching with me, that could be applied toward a down payment. Yeah. Where, you know, with my coaching program, you don't have to pay it all up front. Yeah. You can make monthly payments, and you'll see. Yeah. You'll see it works.
Yeah. So the course is a scholarship into the coaching when they're ready to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, you guys heard it here first. ChuckSmithSystems.com with the flipping legend. If you want to learn how to make 6 to 7 figures flipping real estate, visit ChuckSmithSystems.com. Get his free book, book a free strategy session, get started on some courses, and change your life. Chuck, any final words that you want to say?
No, thank you for having me. You know, with all of your knowledge of the internet, and I'm telling you guys, I highly recommend Spencer Williams, because I know he's got to laugh at me sometimes because of my lack of knowledge about this or that. But that's technology, okay? You'll learn when you make enough money, you can bring in the right people in your life and make your life a lot easier. I mean, I can't. It's an honor to be sitting here with you. I mean, we've been talking on the phone. We've been, but we actually just met today.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to be here with you as well.
Thank you.
All right, so we're done. I'll just say my outro, and then we're good to wrap up. Hi, it's Spencer Williams, and thank you so much for listening to my podcast, Freedom Through Finances. If you enjoyed this podcast, I want you to get a copy of my original book, The Online Millionaire. The Online Millionaire has been the key for me for creating millions and millions of dollars of income between myself and all of my clients' businesses, and has helped people all over Canada and the United States and globally to start and grow successful online businesses. You can get a copy at theonlinemillionairebook.com/freedom for a special offer just for podcast listeners. Once again, go to theonlinemillionairebook.com/freedom to get your special offer. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Freedom Through Finances.